Today here we're with Coach Cale Eidson, head coach of the Madill cross country program. We're gonna recap the season. We had a successful campaign in 2019. Coach Eidson is a very capable man. He's an East Central graduate, ran for the Tigers. Coach Eidson, what does it take to be an effective cross country runner?
It just takes a lot of, like any sport, I guess, takes a lot of dedication, but definitely a lot of putting up with not a lot of fun sometimes. You know, running can be pretty unforgiving, so being able to kind of fight through that and really have a lot of mental toughness, it's a big part of it.
What sets cross country apart from any other sport that we have at Madill High School?
I mean, you know, we have a great group of kids, or we've had a great group of kids the last couple of years, the last few years, and you know, just kind of have that drive to be competitive. You know, I mean, it's one of the most pure forms of sport, running, because there's just so much less to it. It's just running. You're competing against you and everybody else, and it takes a lot of toughness, a lot of mental toughness to be able to do that very well.
Now you're in charge of the whole cross country program, all the way from elementary to high school. We've had success. We just finished the state cross country meet, and tell us about your success there.
We were really fortunate this year. Girls pulled off state runner-up as a team. Our boys getting third place as a team on the podium also. I mean, that was huge for us because, you know, 5 years ago when I got here, our boys team didn't qualify and our girls were 7th. And then from there we built up and built up. And in the last 2 years we were 5th as a team. And then this year being able to get in that top 3 and both teams on the podium is huge. That's a big deal for us.
So you've had runners from their 8th grade year up to high school, and tell us how you make those improvements as a runner.
I mean, you know, just kind of, it's like I said, it's like any sport. It's just getting kids to buy in and to trust what you're doing, to trust that there's a point in what we're doing and getting better, and kind of buy in that they have a chance to be good at it and be able to be willing to work at it and get better. And that's what we've been fortunate in the past few years, that kids have kind of started to buy in. Our cross-country program, people started to buy in, and it's showing now. It's starting to kind of build to a head where now we're having success that we've been looking for.
Miguel just finished up. He got 4th individually last year. He was state champion.
Yep.
Kind of tell him about his abilities and how successful he's been.
He's you know, Miguel's extremely talented. I mean, he's a really talented runner. He's a very talented basketball player. What really sets him apart is just kind of his drive and his willingness to keep working. I mean, the guy was state champion last year, and then he was the first one at summer practice in the summer and doing exactly what he's supposed to do, running hard. I mean, no questions. I mean, doing exactly what he's supposed to do to get better, and that's what sets him apart in a lot of ways.
On the other side of the girls, Valerie
Calderon, yep,
with 4th place as well. Tell her about her abilities, how successful she's been.
She's the first girl All-Stater I've ever coached. So for me, personally, that's a pretty big deal. I've seen her grow from when she was in 7th grade to now as a runner, and it's been really fun to watch because, you know, she's always been pretty talented, but now it's starting to kind of, you know, we're being able to see it, you know, with results and things like that. And so her running the way she did was very, very impressive. She was only 13 seconds off state champion, I think. I mean, she was close. So, I mean, but she's worked so hard, and like I said, she's a lot like Miguel. Don't say a whole lot, shows up, does exactly what she's supposed to do, and just wants to be better.
Excellent. Talk about your team chemistry. What does it take to make your team gel and work together as a team, because you're collecting team points as well as individual points?
I mean, like I said, we've been fortunate, you know, to watch how our teams have worked together. We've got good groups of kids that they've all bought in for one singular goal, you know, as a team. You know, they all know that personally they want to have their PRs, they want to have their best place, get a medal themselves. But they're very good about knowing that there's a team goal involved, and they all work towards that, helping each other out in practice and things like that. So, and like I said, we've got good groups. I mean, they hang out outside of practice and school and things like that. So that goes a long way. So.
And as an outsider looking at the cross country team, you can really tell they have fun. You know, they're running, and running is not fun. For me, it's not fun. But you can tell they're having fun, competing, and that makes a difference.
And that's what's neat about it, like I said, because it's an unforgiving sport. It's not the most fun thing to do. but that they do have fun everywhere we go, it seems like. I mean, you know, during the race, obviously, you've got your own struggles you're worrying about, but, you know, outside of races, going places, I mean, we have a great time together, it seems like. And that's what I'm fortunate for that. I mean, and it's shown with the way we've competed.
Now, the conditions of a cross-country trail, it totally depends on the weather, is that correct?
It could be anything. I mean, the state meet this year, they ran through a couple creeks, I mean, knee-high water, so, I mean, you could have anything. You know, regionals, one of the nicest courses I've seen. Good footing, flat, you know, no mud, nothing on grass. It's really nice. Our home meet this year, I mean, everybody probably lost a shoe at some point in that race. So, I mean, you got to be ready for anything, and that's what's kind of neat about it, is that so many different things play a factor, and especially the weather and the course. But like I said, it's one of those things that whoever's the toughest and is willing to fight through it, that's who's usually going to be the best.
Now, transitioning to the middle school junior high group, we were state champions, girls were state champions.
Yeah, junior high girls were state champions, and the boys were runner-up.
How does that factor into the program in the future?
You know, kind of having, you know, success. They always say success breeds success or whatever, and it's a lot easier to kind of get excited when you're doing well. So, but to be able to kind of have those extrinsic rewards, like a state championship or whatever you can call it, is huge for them in the future, for them to keep wanting to build at it and keep working at it to get better and better. And that was what was really neat about this year, is that, like I said, those junior high work just as hard as the high school. I mean, I have them in the summer too. They run in the mornings before school. So for them to be able to say that, hey, we've won state or whatever also is really big, I think.
When do you actually start running to prepare for the season? I know you start in the summer, but you start in June, July?
Yeah, we usually try to have some workouts start in June, you know, kind of kids running on their own and things like that. And that's where the self-driven part of it comes in, is, you know, they have their workouts and everything they're supposed to do. We will start to hit workouts and practices harder come July and things like that, kind of rolling in towards closer to the season. And like I said, they say state championships and cross country are won in the summer, and so I mean that makes a big difference, you know, training in the summer.
What do you expect in the future for Madill cross country?
You know, we had our goals set high this year, and we're going to set them just as high next year. You know, we're looking to be the best. You know,
it's always good to be in that neighborhood. I know the high school didn't win a state championship, but it's good to have that conversation, being in the neighborhood of that state championship.
Yeah.
And tell me how that affects the program overall, the morale.
Well, you know, and it's one of those things, like I said, we set our goals high this year, didn't quite reach what we wanted to, but like I said, to be in that conversation, to have both teams on the podium, because you have 21 teams at state cross meet, and only the top 3 get on the podium, and we got both of them there. So like I said, it's one of those things that kind of helps breed that feeling that we don't just want to be on the podium now we want to be at the top. And so, you know, now we kind of know what the feeling is and what's going to take to go from where we are to the very top.
Explain to us how they score a cross-country meet.
So, like at state, you only run 7 runners. You know, most meets will run as many as we can. So your first 5 runners, every place that they get is a point. So if you get first place, it's 1 point. If you get second place, 2 points. And so your first 5 runners, you add that total up, each runner's points, and the lowest score wins.
So the lowest score wins,
yeah,
right? And,
yes.
And like a golf.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Golf
So,
score.
and your 6 and 7 still get points, but they don't count for the total. But yeah, you're looking for the lowest score. It's all about place.
And you've talked about it through the season. You've talked about the times aren't as important as beating the person in front of you, right?
Yeah, and that's what's kind of not confusing about it, but it kind of misleading sometimes. Like everybody wants a time. Like it's great to have a fast time. It's cool when somebody runs a good time in cross country. But courses being different, anything could happen. You know, it could be all downhill, run an amazing time. It could be all uphill, run a terrible time. So it's really just about placing and, you know, getting yourself up there as far as you can. Because they could score a whole cross country meet, never time it, and it wouldn't change the results.
We're going to transition to the elementary program. It's for the younger students, correct? What grades does that start?
We usually start them, I mean, we have preschool divisions at a lot of the elementary meets, and like I said, I let them come out and run at that age. You know, mostly have anywhere from second to 6th graders. 6th graders kind of fall in a weird spot. They can run both high school or middle school and elementary. But we all go all the way down to preschoolers, and it's kind of a neat deal because, you know, it's one of those sports that you don't know anything about it half the time, and you get kids to middle school and they've never heard of cross country. So to give them kind of exposure to it and kind of get an idea of what it takes, you know, kind of running and everything like that, like I enjoy that part of it.
Now the distances are different in the elementary school. They're shorter.
Yeah, they only run a mile for their meets, which is plenty for some of them, and for some of them, you know,
is there a state championship for elementary? Not yet.
So this year they had the Southern Oklahoma Track Club out of Ardmore hosted a Southern Oklahoma cross country championships, more or less, so kind of a regional deal. And we went over there this year and had a really good showing. I think we won just about every division except for one. So, but it's a neat deal. It's kind of like I say, getting them excited and kind of understanding, you know, what it takes, being on a team, and you know, kind of what it takes to be a good runner. So.
Well, Coach Eidson, I appreciate your time and joining us today.
Appreciate you, Brandon.
Congratulations on a great season.